How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brown Logan, and today we got to talk about the drama that's surrounding YouTube right now. And over the past few days, there's a lot going on. And if you're not familiar with everything that's happening, but I'm sure many of you are, I'll just run through them anyway. And then I'll get into my reaction to the whole situation in total. Now, the first story and the biggest one is about Alex Jones. He got 2 strikes on his YouTube channel. Now, if you get 3 strikes, you are out. You cannot create another account to replace the one that got removed. It's like a permanent ban. You are not allowed back on the platform. Now, you got 2 strikes within the matter of a couple of days, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments below. But the strikes were referring to the Parkland, Florida situation. He spoke about one of the kids that were involved with it. I'm not going to say his name, but I will put info about that in the description box below. For that, people were saying that he was harassing, bullying, spreading misinformation or what have you. But a lot of what he said was not anything that many of us hadn't heard already or were already thinking. It was not really that serious, but he did get 2 strikes. Now, a member of his team or somebody affiliated with him, Jerome Corsi, also has a channel with like 22,000 subs on it. That got deleted for the same reason why Alex Jones got 2 strikes. You also had Mark Dice. He got a strike for a 3-year-old video. Luckily, that was able to get resolved. Sargon of Akkad got his account suspended. So basically, you have a Gmail account that's linked to your YouTube account. That Gmail account got suspended. Therefore, he was not able to get into his YouTube account, but that got resolved. I'm not really sure how Sargon and Mark Dice were able to get their situations resolved, but they were able to do it. You also had many other so-called right-wing channels that were deleted. Some of them are not back. Some of them are. YouTube came out and said that it was a mistake, that some channels were deleted because of the new process they're trying to go through to fight against extremism, terrorism, or whatever. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's false what they're saying, but at the end of the day, they did restore some and they've not restored others. Now, my personal feelings about it, before I even get to my personal feelings, I just want to say my own situation. I did not get a strike or anything recently. I did get a copyright claim while I was live streaming. The copyright claim was false because I was live streaming State of the Union address right when it was happening, and everything was good for about 20 minutes. I was using C-SPAN's live stream to do my stream, to have my chat on it, to speak on it, to communicate with the audience, and then I was going to do a live call-in afterwards the same way C-SPAN does. 20 minutes in, it gets cut. I don't know what's going on. A little while later, I get an email from YouTube saying that CNN put a copyright claim on my video. And when you get a copyright claim on a live video, you are not permitted to live stream until it gets resolved, until whatever the claim is gets resolved. Now, I resolved the claim because as soon as it gave me the thing that says CNN put a claim on it, I'm like, no. I got it from C-SPAN. This is fair use. Is that in the third? So it got resolved. It took 3 weeks of me going back and forth with them to be able to resolve it, but it did get resolved. Now, I don't know if that happened because I'm a conservative or what, because other channels that were not conservative had the same thing happen. So do I think that YouTube is targeting conservatives? Yes, and also no. Now, before I get into my explanation of that statement, I just want to say that the people that they have on board, I think they got like 10,000 new people to be in a trust and safety board, or not necessarily trust and safety, but to be basically moderators to remove harmful content off YouTube. These people are needed because a lot of the content that's on YouTube is not just stuff like myself. It ain't just conservative. It ain't just liberal. It ain't about Trump or whatever. You're talking about stuff that's totally illegal, no matter what. It's not even about free speech. It ain't about nothing. Stuff that you cannot get anywhere on U.S. soil without going to the penitentiary. That's how bad it is. And I'll leave it at that. You pretty much can put 2 and 2 together. So they are needed for that. However, I think they are used in the incorrect way when they're weaponized by the mainstream media. And that goes to what I was just saying about how YouTube targets us, but they're not really doing it. They're not targeting us necessarily because that's how they feel. Maybe some are. I think maybe some people want to do that, but people that want to do that aren't necessarily the ones that are out there flagging the videos. The people that are flagging the videos are doing so because they may be getting pressure from the mainstream media, and the pressure doesn't necessarily come to them. It comes from the people that are the higher ups at YouTube that tell them, okay, we had a bad story in the New York Times or Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal about X, Y, and Z person. So you got to do something about them for PR purposes. That's what that is. So they have their marching orders. They know what they got to do. There's certain keywords they got to just flag, certain videos they got to flag. And as a result, you have a lot of conservatives being targeted because much of the media is controlled by the left. You see what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily YouTube doing it. It's the mainstream media pressuring YouTube to do it, because when the mainstream media gets involved, that's bad PR. Bad PR leads to scare advertisers. The advertisers don't know what's going on. They're thinking, okay, I don't want to have my brand get a bad reputation. So the mainstream media is really who's at fault here. I like YouTube. I like the technology. It's great. I like their platform to be able to discover people and interact. All of that is fantastic. It's perfect. However, the problem with YouTube is the fact that they're so susceptible to outside influence. The media can get to them and they can pretty much determine the way they go. And the media is driven by leftist ideology. And beyond that, YouTube does not tell you what's really going on. That's one more thing. They're very, very, very vague. And they're vague like that on purpose because they pretty much will acquiesce to whatever they feel like they need to acquiesce to. Maybe to some of their employees, because you've seen their employees, some of them, how they behave, how they are, the ones that are on the face of it. However, these people can't really act in the way that's going to damage the company, because if they do, then all the SJW, all the, trying to be politically correct, that's out the window. Now, I did see an article about how allegedly Google does not want to hire you unless you are a black woman or a Latino or gay or something like that. I don't know if it's true or false, but I will link to that in the box below, but I wouldn't be surprised. And the reason why they're doing that is because of diversity. They want to have more quote unquote diverse people. They don't want any more Asians or any more whites, especially white males. They want to have more so-called minorities. And a lot of that, again, is from outside pressure, because I've heard time and time again from these leftist think tanks, especially the black leftist think tanks, which are websites really like The Roots and stuff like that. They say that, tech so white, tech so Asian is not enough so-called minorities. Then they want to get into the numbers, talking about Facebook only has 2% of their staff is black, although we're 13% of the population, stuff like that. But they don't say how Asians are like 33% of the staff at Yahoo, although they're like only 5% of the population and they're a minority. They don't talk about that. The reason why there's not enough blacks and or women in tech is because maybe that's not where our interests lie. Okay. If you have a small pool to select from of black applicants, then why would you go above and beyond to pick a lot from them when there's more qualified people over here? Or you're able to get more bang for your buck if you get them from India, China, or something like that, right? Put them on the H-1B, H-2B, whatever it is, and pay them pennies on the dollar. But I digress. The point I'm making is that the outside pressure is really what's shaping all these conversations, not necessarily YouTube just having the philosophy about, oh, we want to do this, oh, we want to do that. It's about the outside influences. I blame the mainstream media, but YouTube is not without fault. YouTube needs to be more transparent. I'm able to figure things out just based on their actions. I know I can't say certain things or I may get demonetized. And I know just by trial and error, the terms of service mean nothing at all because they're so vague. You can pretty much do whatever you want to do as long as YouTube says it's okay. Even if what they say is okay is not found in the TOS. And they will say it's okay, not directly. They'll say it's okay by how they police the whole situation. You understand what I'm saying? Prime example, I know that I can't talk about certain things just based upon how my videos get treated when I send them for manual review. When you put a video out there and it's monetized, it may get the yellow icon, which means that it has not a lot of ads on it. And you're able to review that to see if you're eligible to get your full ad access on that particular video. If it gets green lighted, I can talk about it. If it doesn't, then I can't. And what I can't talk about from what I've been able to see as far as what I put out there, I can't speak for the whole world. I can't say this is a definitive library of all things that YouTube does not want on the platform. But I know talking about guns, talking about school shootings, talking about black women at all, Like, I had a video where I was talking about black women, not even in a negative way. I just mentioned black women, that got demonetized. Talking about the school shooting, that's demonetized. I don't talk about any kind of conspiracy. I talk about the news that gets reported by the mainstream media. It's to the point where I read the article while my face is in the bottom of the screen of the article on the website, and I scroll through it as I'm reading it, and I give my commentary on it. So there's no conspiracy being made. I'm commenting on a mainstream source that Google itself will recommend to me in their top carousel of news clips. It might even be in the Google newsstand. So if it's in the Google newsstand, then how can it be considered a conspiracy? I don't know, but I digress. My whole point here is that YouTube has a lot of problems, but I think the issue with the demonetization, people's channels getting removed, that is their reaction to the outside influence of the leftist mainstream media. Are they without fault? Are they without flaw? Absolutely not. But we need to just understand what's happening here. And I'm here to tell you because YouTube will not tell you. And that, I think, at the end of the day, is the main problem. So what do you think? Do you think YouTube has an anti-conservative, anti-white male, an anti so-called right-wing approach to the whole situation because they're filled with leftists? I want to say this. I think their engineers are pretty much apolitical, or their politics are not even really important because the website runs beautifully. It's probably one of the best websites technically that exists on the internet. However, their public policy, the way that they communicate, customer service, that's all kind of leftist. And it becomes toxic when the leftist media influences them. They may want to do the things that's best for their website. They may not be totally far extreme left, but the media most certainly is. The mainstream media is the enemy of man at this point. When Trump talks about fake news and stuff like that, I pretty much applaud him because that's the problem. But am I right? Am I wrong? Have any of your personal favorites been removed from YouTube as a result of the so-called conservative purge? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.